Your arteries don't scream, they don't ache, and they don't warn you when they're in trouble, yet deep inside your body, a silent threat could already be unfolding, triggered by the absence of a single vitamin you rarely think about. While you go about your daily routine, this quiet deficiency may be hardening your arteries, slowing your circulation, and setting the stage for serious problems long before any symptoms appear. It's a hidden danger, one that creeps in unnoticed, all because the body is missing a nutrient so small yet so powerful that your long-term health could depend on it. When essential vitamins are missing from the diet, the body often sends no immediate, obvious signals. This is especially true when it comes to the arteries, which quietly endure the consequences long before any noticeable symptoms appear. Arteries are dynamic, living tissues that rely on a variety of nutrients to maintain their elasticity, strength, and ability to transport blood efficiently. When these nutrients are absent or consistently insufficient, the arteries cannot perform their tasks as effectively, and this decline can progress for years beneath the surface. The process is subtle, gradual, and easy to overlook because it does not typically cause sudden discomfort. Instead, it alters the internal environment of the cardiovascular system bit by bit, changing the way blood vessels respond, repair themselves, and handle the everyday stress of circulating blood. Vitamins play an important role in supporting cellular repair processes, regulating inflammation, and maintaining structural integrity. Some vitamins help ensure that minerals are used properly within the body, guiding them to the right places and keeping them away from areas where they might cause harm. When these vitamins are missing, minerals may accumulate in areas where they shouldn't, contributing to unwanted stiffness or internal strain within arterial walls. Over time, this can influence how flexible the arteries remain, how smoothly blood flows through them, and how much work the heart must do to keep everything moving as it should. The lack of these key nutrients doesn't just affect one part of the system, it influences an entire chain of physiological functions connected to vascular health. Another hidden challenge is that dietary patterns often shift slowly. Many people don't realize they are missing essential vitamins because the changes in their diet occur over months or years. Processed foods, irregular eating habits, or unbalanced meal choices may leave nutritional gaps that go unnoticed. Meanwhile, the arteries are continuously adapting to whatever the body receives. When they're deprived of the micronutrients needed for maintenance, the small deficits compound. The arteries may become less resilient, less responsive, and more vulnerable to stressors that would otherwise be harmless if proper nutrition were consistently available. The silent nature of vitamin deficiencies means they are frequently overshadowed by more immediately noticeable health concerns. People may focus on energy levels, weight changes, or external signs of wellness while remaining unaware of the nutritional influences shaping their internal health. The arteries, being out of sight, rarely receive attention until a problem has developed enough to make itself felt. Yet the groundwork for arterial decline often begins long before any symptoms appear, rooted in the quiet, continuous absence of essential vitamins. The body is remarkably adaptive, but it cannot create vitamins on its own. It depends entirely on daily intake to supply the raw materials needed for arterial upkeep. When those materials are missing, the effects accumulate quietly, weaving themselves into the long-term trajectory of vascular function in ways that remain invisible from the outside. When the body lacks certain nutrients that help regulate where minerals should be deposited, calcium can begin to shift away from the places where it offers the greatest benefit and toward areas where it can create long-term complications. Normally, calcium strengthens bones and teeth, providing the density and structure that support everyday movement and protect against fractures. For this process to work smoothly, the body relies on specific vitamins to guide calcium into skeletal tissue and ensure that it remains there. When those guiding nutrients are missing, calcium may end up circulating in the bloodstream without a clear destination, eventually settling into soft tissues such as the arterial walls. Over time, this misplaced calcium can contribute to stiffness in the arteries, reducing their ability to expand and contract as blood flows through them. This gradual change often goes unnoticed because it doesn't happen all at once. Day after day, small amounts of calcium may accumulate, slowly altering the flexibility of the vessels. Arteries that were once supple and responsive may begin to feel more like rigid tubes, requiring the heart to work harder to push blood through them. This shift affects the entire cardiovascular system, influencing pressure, flow, and the overall ease with which oxygen and nutrients reach the body's tissues. Even though the process is internal and silent, it can shape long-term health in significant ways. The arteries, which are meant to function like smooth, elastic channels, can lose their ability to adapt to normal changes in circulation, making them more susceptible to stress. One of the challenges with this issue is that many people are unaware of how closely mineral balance is tied to micronutrient intake. It's easy to think of calcium only as a bone-related mineral without realizing that it needs a supportive team of vitamins to stay in the right places. Dietary habits, supplements taken without guidance, or meals lacking in variety can all influence how the body distributes minerals. When the necessary vitamins are missing or insufficient, the body does not have the tools it needs to manage calcium properly. As a result, even individuals who consume enough calcium may still face problems if the nutrients required for proper utilization are absent. The movement of calcium into the arteries is not something people can feel as it happens. There is no sudden discomfort or noticeable sensation that signals the shift. Instead, the changes reveal themselves only after enough buildup has occurred to alter the behavior of the blood vessels. This is why awareness is so important. Understanding the role vitamins play in directing calcium can help people recognize how interconnected their dietary choices are with their internal physiology. It also highlights that the body's systems do not operate independently. The skeletal system, cardiovascular system, and metabolic pathways are all linked through the nutrients that support them. When calcium accumulates where it shouldn't, it becomes a sign that something fundamental is missing in the nutritional framework that keeps the body balanced. When the arteries begin to lose their natural flexibility, the effects ripple throughout the entire body, altering circulation and diminishing the overall sense of vitality. Arteries are designed to expand and contract with each heartbeat, moving blood efficiently to every organ and tissue. This flexibility is what allows the cardiovascular system to respond to changes in activity, stress, and metabolic needs. When arteries stiffen, the heart must generate more force to push blood through them, and this increased workload can gradually affect energy levels. The body begins to experience a kind of internal resistance, as though the pathways that once flowed freely have become narrower, tighter, and less responsive. This shift doesn't produce sudden, dramatic symptoms at first. Instead, it subtly alters how energized a person feels throughout the day. As circulation becomes less efficient, oxygen delivery to the cells may decline. Oxygen is the fuel that allows every system in the body to function, from cognitive processes to muscle performance. When arteries are stiff and blood flow becomes more difficult, even simple tasks can start to feel more demanding. People may notice that they tire more easily or find themselves needing longer periods of rest to recover from activities that once required little effort. A decline in arterial flexibility can also influence how well nutrients travel to tissues, affecting recovery, clarity, and overall well-being. Because the body is interconnected, a disruption in one system inevitably makes its presence known in others, even if the signs are subtle at first. The sense of reduced vitality can also be tied to the increased strain placed on the heart. A heart pushing against stiffened arteries must work harder, and this additional effort can lead to feelings of heaviness or sluggishness. The cardiovascular system is meant to operate with smooth, rhythmic efficiency. When that rhythm is disrupted, the body often responds with a general sense of fatigue. This tiredness isn't necessarily the kind that improves with a quick nap. It stems from the deeper issue of compromised circulation. Without realizing it, individuals may attribute this shift in energy to stress, aging, or lifestyle factors, unaware that the root cause may be changes occurring within their arterial walls. Reduced arterial flexibility also impacts how effectively the body adapts to sudden changes in movement or exertion. Activities that require quick bursts of energy, like climbing stairs or walking briskly, may become more challenging. The body's response to physical demands becomes slower, less fluid, and more effortful. What was once easy may begin to feel laborious, not because of a lack of motivation, but because the cardiovascular system is struggling to keep pace with the body's needs. This can influence everything from daily routines to long-term health goals, as decreased energy often leads to reduced activity, which can in turn compound circulatory issues. All of these subtle changes underscore how vital arterial flexibility is to maintaining a strong sense of vitality, consistent energy, and efficient circulation. Small nutritional choices often seem insignificant in the moment, but they steadily shape the long-term trajectory of health in ways that are easy to underestimate. Every meal, every snack, and every pattern of eating contributes to a cumulative effect. Over time, these choices influence how the body repairs itself, how efficiently it functions, and how resilient it remains in the face of stress. The body depends on a constant supply of nutrients to carry out its daily processes, and when those nutrients are consistently lacking, even in small amounts, the effects begin to build quietly. These effects don't announce themselves right away. Instead, they develop gradually, woven into the background of everyday life. People may not notice the impact of a missing vitamin or an imbalanced routine until the consequences have compounded over years. The long-term nature of nutritional habits means that even minor decisions, repeated often enough, can become powerful forces. A diet that leans heavily on convenience foods, for instance, may leave subtle gaps in essential vitamins or minerals. Although one unbalanced meal is unlikely to cause harm, the pattern of choosing such meals regularly can build a nutritional environment that affects everything from energy levels to the condition of internal organs. Conversely, consistently opting for nutrient-rich foods, even in small amounts, can help support the body's natural repair mechanisms, maintain structural integrity, and bolster overall vitality. Because these changes happen gradually, it's easy for people to overlook how much influence their everyday choices truly have. The tricky part is that nutritional decisions are often made without much conscious thought. People frequently eat on the go, choose foods based on convenience or routine, or rely on familiar habits that may not serve their long-term well-being. Without realizing it, they might skip foods that provide essential support to internal systems. Over months or years, these skipped nutrients can affect the way tissues regenerate, the way cells handle stress, and the way the body maintains balance. While these shifts may begin subtly, they can contribute to larger health patterns that become more noticeable over time. This slow accumulation highlights how nutrition is less about isolated events and more about patterns that persist. Even small improvements, when repeated consistently, can create positive momentum. Adding a serving of vegetables, choosing whole foods more often, or prioritizing balanced meals can gradually influence the body's internal environment. These actions might feel minor, yet they support processes that keep arteries flexible, cells nourished, and systems running smoothly. Just as negative habits can compound into challenges, positive habits can compound into resilience. The body responds to what it is given, and it adapts according to the nutritional landscape created by daily decisions. Understanding this cumulative effect empowers individuals to recognize the significance of even their smallest choices. Each meal becomes an opportunity to support the body's long-term function, creating a foundation that influences future energy, cardiovascular health, and overall strength. Awareness is often the first and most important step in protecting the health of the arteries. because many of the processes occurring inside the body are silent, gradual, and easy to overlook. When people pay attention to the signals their bodies send and understand the role nutrition plays in vascular well-being, they place themselves in a far stronger position to prevent issues before they arise. Arteries depend on consistent maintenance, and that maintenance begins with being conscious of what supports them and what may put them at risk. Without awareness, habits form by default rather than by intention, and default habits do not always align with long-term health. The moment someone begins paying attention to their nutritional patterns, their energy levels, and the subtle shifts in how their body feels, they create an opportunity to make choices that strengthen arterial function rather than undermine it. Proactive habits are the natural extension of awareness. Once people understand the potential impact of missing nutrients, they can make deliberate adjustments that contribute to healthier arteries over time. These adjustments do not require drastic changes. Often they involve small, consistent actions that reinforce the body's natural processes. Choosing meals rich in supportive vitamins, paying attention to portion balance, or simply being mindful of the quality of foods consumed can make a meaningful difference. Proactive habits also include recognizing when something feels off internally and taking steps to address it early rather than ignoring it. This kind of attentiveness helps prevent nutritional gaps from persisting long enough to cause deeper effects on arterial structure and flexibility. Protecting the arteries involves more than just eating well. It involves adopting daily practices that support overall cardiovascular health. Hydration, movement, stress management, and rest all influence how blood vessels respond and repair themselves. Awareness makes it easier to identify areas where improvements can be made, while proactive habits ensure that these improvements take root. The combination forms a powerful approach to maintaining arterial health. Instead of waiting for symptoms to arise, individuals who cultivate awareness and take action create an environment in which problems are less likely to develop. The body thrives under consistent care, and proactive habits supply the tools it needs to maintain resilience. It's also important to recognize that awareness encourages people to seek knowledge. Understanding how nutrients interact, how arteries function, and how daily behaviors contribute to long-term well-being helps individuals make informed choices. This knowledge empowers them to evaluate their routines, question their assumptions, and refine their habits with confidence. Proactive habits become easier to sustain when they are built on a foundation of understanding rather than guesswork. People are more likely to follow through on actions when they know why those actions matter, and they are better equipped to adapt as their needs change. By staying aware and committing to habits that actively support the cardiovascular system, individuals build a protective framework that promotes arterial flexibility, balanced nutrient use, and overall vitality. Prioritizing proper nutrition creates a foundation that supports long-term strength, vitality, and healthy arterial function. When the body receives the nutrients it needs on a consistent basis, its systems operate with far greater efficiency. Arteries remain more flexible, blood flows more smoothly, and the heart experiences less strain as it performs its daily workload. Nutrition plays a crucial role in determining how well the cardiovascular system manages stress, repairs damage, and adapts to changes in activity. Even though people often focus on short-term goals like energy or weight, the deeper impact of nutrition lies in how it shapes the body's internal environment over the course of months and years. When these choices align with what the body needs, the result is a stronger, healthier future that begins with the simple act of paying attention to what is consumed each day. Proper nutrition supports the body's repair processes by supplying essential vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients that help maintain arterial structure. Arteries, like any other tissue, require regular rebuilding and reinforcement. Nutrients help form collagen, regulate inflammation, and guide minerals to the correct locations within the body. Without these elements, internal repair slows and the tissues become more vulnerable to stress. When people prioritize foods that nourish these processes, they provide their bodies with the raw materials needed to maintain smooth, flexible arteries. This kind of support doesn't produce instant results, but it builds a long-term foundation that protects cardiovascular health across decades. A well-nourished body is better equipped to handle environmental and lifestyle challenges. Whether it's dealing with fluctuations in physical activity, managing stress, or responding to shifts in metabolism, the cardiovascular system depends on a steady supply of nutrients to remain adaptable. Proper nutrition also contributes to balanced energy levels, which influence how active a person feels and how consistently they engage in healthy routines. When the body feels supported, it becomes easier to maintain habits that reinforce well-being. This creates a positive cycle in which good nutrition leads to more energy leads to more activity, and more activity further strengthens the cardiovascular system. All of these factors work together to create a healthier future shaped by small, consistent choices made today. Prioritizing nutrition also instills a sense of intentionality around health. When individuals choose foods that support their arteries rather than undermine them, they create a lifestyle that aligns with long-term wellness instead of short-term convenience. Each balanced meal or thoughtful choice becomes a contribution toward a future with fewer complications, greater resilience, and stronger physiological function. Over time, these choices accumulate, creating lasting benefits that are far greater than the sum of their parts. Investing in proper nutrition is one of the most accessible ways to influence future health. It doesn't require specialized equipment or strenuous routines. It simply requires awareness and consistency. By focusing on nutrient-rich foods and maintaining habits that support the body's internal systems, individuals can shape their long-term well-being in powerful and lasting ways.